Yeah, hello there, viewers. This is the city of Xi'an in Shanxi province in Kenya. I mean, in China, not Kenya. Um, um, yeah, I've been recording other videos in Kenya, so that's why I made that mistake. And this means this video um, is raw. It's not edited, you know, to confuse you or give you information that may not be true or real. I'm here in China for 8 days, and I'm here mainly for the seminar on Chinese modernization and African development, which is part of the forum on China Africa Cooperation, which you might have heard about. I am from South Sudan, and the reason for recording this short video is to show you a little bit of a little section of the city where I am. I am standing at the eighth floor of the hotel. The question here is, how long do you think Juba, South Sudan, will be like the city you are seeing now, or the section of the city that you are seeing right now, which is like just a droplet, which is just like a dot on paper compared to the whole city? Well, I think my view or my answer to the question is that it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's not about the time it takes to have a city like this in South Sudan, especially the capital city. This is not even the Beijing. This is not the capital city of China, but um, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It matters what we are doing right now, because starting is better than not. Comparing South Sudan with China, I'm not talking about history or how many years China has been in development uh, or have been modernized. Maybe you don't know, just like me, I just learned that the People's Republic of China, which is a modern name instead of, ancient China. This is modern China. Became a nation or a country um, in 1949. I didn't know that, and of course you can correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I heard from one of the professors today. And that is not long time ago. I thought China was okay. The modern China um, was independent long before that, because I'm not a good student of history, even though my work now forced me to know a little bit about history, because you can't talk about a country like South Sudan or China without history, and you can't talk about a person like me or you without history, because all of us have history. All of us were not here. There was a time we were not in this world, and that means we have history. There was a time we entered the world, and there will be a time we will exit the world. So this has been my dream, um, to travel the world and see different things that human beings have already accomplished. So briefly, I just came out of the conference or the seminar room where the professor focused much on the Chinese modernization and a little bit of the history of colonization, same as my country, Sudan. Later on, we became South Sudan, part of the whole country. So we were colonized by the same British people, just like the Chinese people. But right now, here is China. Here's where China is. And that's the reason why I came to see China myself, so that I have more ideas to write about as a writer. And I'm already impressed by the design. If you look at these buildings, most of the buildings are windows. I mean, most parts of the building are windows, and that is something. I'm not an architect, but I can see. the logic behind all these design. And I can see the Chinese culture in the buildings, in everything that I see something that most people may miss: culture. In Africa, um, let me say we have already lost our African identity. Right now, we are here more than 50 of us, because some countries have more than one representative. I am the only representative from South Sudan. And that means out of more than 50 of us, we are divided into two: the Francophone and the Anglophone. That means the English speaking countries and the French speaking countries. We are from Africa, but we can't understand ourselves. Okay, let alone that. We have people from Somalia, people from my neighboring country, Ethiopia. Up to now, I don't know them and they don't know me, simply because there's a gap. And also people from Egypt, you see. So Africa is either Arab, Arabophone, if there's a word like that, or even, I don't know, it maybe will be also Chinophone, like Professor PLO sometimes joke. There's a lot of issues concerning African identity. And that is purposely done. It's not actually us Africans. I'm not 100% blaming Africans or South Sudanese for that matter. But I think it is time for us to identify ourselves. I've been writing a lot about identity. That is personal development, and that is self-discovery. As a person, as John myself, have I discovered who I am? Okay, in which level? Family, clan, tribe, or country, like modern countries, modern state countries or nations like South Sudan with 64 tribes official. And of course, as Honorable Achil Malith would tell you, that we have 72 nationalities. I still don't have time. I still didn't have a chance to ask him what he meant, because officially we are known to have 64 tribes. But I think he actually want to say something very important, that we have 72 nationalities. So such countries, we call them nation states, because a nation is like Dinka. Dinka is a nation. Nuer is a nation. Bare is a nation. You know, Zande is a nation. Acholi is a nation. All that. We were nations, but now we have a unifying name called South Sudan. Though we have those differences, we always talk about unity in diversity, especially from our one of our main liberators, Dr. John Grang Damabur, late. He is fond of saying that unity in diversity. So, are we in South Sudan united? Do we have a common identity? Because that's where it all began. And this is what I see everywhere in China. There is that, you know, identity. Chinese know who they are. That's why they write in their own characters, in their own language. And I can see almost in everything, like I'm talking about those buildings, I can see that the Chinese characters, the Chinese letters are almost visible in everything, even nature. The way they prune the trees, the way they build, they design the roads and the cities. Oh my, there is something about Chinese characters, which I also think before I did the research, because I have to do something about it, I have to find out my theory that the Chinese letters might likely originate from nature. When you look at fish bones, there are different fish in China. I think you need to know that. I didn't know. So when you eat the fish in China and you look at the bones, there is a similarity between the bones and the Chinese characters. So it's like everything here. I mean, everything in the Chinese letters in the writing system, there is Chinese culture. You see Chinese or China. Chinese here means the people of China. That's why they call themselves the People's Republic of China. So everything is driven by the people. And that is where the power is. So talking about the Western, or let us say modern type of democracy that we got from the West, I don't know whether we We Africans have got it in a different way, in a wrong way. I mean, I'm talking about democracy now, which simply look like monarchy or even, you know, um, it sounds good to be democratic, but what do we really mean? Is it practical? Can we have that African, identity, which is more similar to this of the Chinese identity, where you know we are communal, we live by as a society. That is how we used to be, and that's how we are right now. Even though Africa is no longer the Africa it used to be, there is still that element of unity in diversity. So yeah, it is not about time. It is about what we do now. So for me, I'm a writer. That is the path I've chosen, and I believe it is my calling to learn and also share knowledge with other people, purposely to inspire, to empower, and to integrate individuals into what I call the ecosystem of life and existence, which is an ideology for Africa. And I found out that it is the same ideology in China. Everything, food, houses, and name it. You see the harmonization of humanity and nature everywhere. So I hope South Sudan prospers. And thank you for watching. I will be updating you on this seminar and even after. Thank you so much. John Munjok here, signing off.